Hello, and here we have lesson 1.3 on multiplying polynomials. Most of this first page is going to be a review of what was covered previously in grade 9. As usual, we're going to start off with some terms and definitions to get us started and reminding us what we can reference back to throughout the lesson if we get confused or a little bit lost on a concept. So first we have a polynomial. What's a polynomial? So here we have one term, or the sum of terms containing variables and whole numbers and whole number exponents. An example of that, 3x plus 7. So we have our variable of x and our whole numbers. So then we have a monomial. So this would be a polynomial with one term. Binomial is a polynomial with two terms. A trinomial is a polynomial with three terms. And here we have a constant, so that's a number. That doesn't change and is not attached to a variable. Descending order of powers is how we're going to be writing polynomials according to the highest exponent. So 7x to the power of 4 plus 3x to the power of 6x to the power of 3 plus 2x to the power of 2 plus x that has the power of 1, which we wouldn't write, followed by a constant. So this would be an example of descending order according to the power. Now, here we're going to get into naming polynomials. In grade 9, we just looked at the degree and identifying what the degree was. Now we need to be able to name them. So here we have degree 1. So this is like x to the power of 1, which usually isn't written. It's usually written as x. And we call this linear. X squared we call quadratic. X cubed is cubic. X to the power of 4, quartic. And x to the power of 5 we have as quintic. The most important ones are these first three terms. We're going to look through this table and identify the number of terms, name the polynomial, the degree, name the degree, then list the variables, coefficients, and the constants. So here we have the number of terms. Terms are separated by an addition or subtraction sign, so we only have one term. So we call this a monomial. The degree, or the exponent, is 2, so therefore it is a quadratic, and I'm going to abbreviate that as quad. The variable identifies a letter, so we're just listing them, so is x. Coefficient is the number in front of the variable, which would be a 1, and there are no constants. Number of terms is still 1, so we call that a monomial. The highest degree, or the exponent, is a 3, so this is a cubic name. The variable we have here is y with a -4 in front of it, and there's no constant. The number of terms is separated by the subtraction sign, so we have 2. So we call this a binomial. The degree is 2, so this is a quadratic. The variables is x with a coefficient of 5, and now we have a constant of -1. Number of terms are separated by addition and subtraction, so we have 3 terms, therefore it's called a trinomial. The degree, the highest degree is 2, so this is also a quadratic. The variables, we're just listing them, so we have r. And the coefficients that go with r is 8 and -4, and gives us a constant of 2. We have 3 terms, which we call a trinomial. The highest degree would be 4, and that would be a quartic. Listing the variables we have is m. There's a 9 coefficient and a 1 coefficient, and the constant is -3. Last term, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 terms, so we call this a polynomial. The highest degree is 5, so that's a quintic. The variables we have here are r and k, with the coefficients of -6, 2, and -1, and a constant of -10. Moving on, reviewing how to add and subtract polynomials. So we're going to simplify these terms. So we want to combine like terms. A like term has to have the same variable and same degree. So here we can combine 3y plus 7y, and we combine 2x subtract y. So that would give us 10y plus x. Now we can combine the first two terms, so -3 plus 2 is -x squared, and 7x minus 2x would give us positive 5x. We are still adding our like terms, so with the terms that we have that are the same, we have 3x and 2x, that would give us 5x, and 2 plus 2 would give us positive 4. Now when we have a difference, when we're subtracting these binomials, we recognize that we have a subtraction sign, so we're going to turn this into an addition question, or we're going to flip the signs of everything after the difference. So now we have -3x subtract 2 plus -2x minus 7y. I'm going to combine like terms, so I can combine the -3 and the -2 to give me -5x minus 7y, because there's nothing else to combine with y, minus 2 as a constant. Now we're going to get into the review of multiplying polynomials. We have to remember that when you're multiplying two powers together that have the same base, you're going to add the exponents. So what does that look like? I have here 2x multiplied by 7y, so 2 times 7 gives you 14, and you're just adding the variables, so we have x and y as a variable. -3a multiplied by 2bc, so we have -6, and combining the variables a, b, c. 3 times 4 is 12. Now I can add the exponents together, so we have x to the power of 5. -8 multiplied by 3 is -24. Looking at the variables, how many x's are there? 2. How many y's are there? 5. I need to multiply the 2 with the 3, because there is one inside the bracket and one outside the bracket, so a property tells me to multiply, so we have x to the power of 6. That's just like writing x squared multiplied by x squared multiplied by x squared. So that would equal x to the power of, how many x's are there? 6. Same property, we're going to distribute this 3 So we would have 3 to the power of 3 multiplied by x to the power of 6. So that would give us 3 cubed is 27, x to the power of 6. Let's distribute this 2x throughout the bracket. So that would give us 6x squared plus 2x. Same property. Negative 3 multiplied by 2 is negative 6. How many x's? There'd be 3 and y. Now we have negative 3 multiplied by 7, so it'd be negative 21. How many x's between those two terms? X to the power of 3, y to the power of 2. And negative 3 to negative 2 would give us positive 6 x squared y. There are no terms that we can combine, so we're leaving it at that. Here we have a difference, so we first need to multiply through the bracket, here and here. So we have 5m multiplied by m squared would give you 5m cubed minus 20m. Subtract 2m cubed minus 2m squared. Now I can combine like terms where possible. So 5 minus 2 is 3m cubed, and negative 20m minus, we can't combine anything with that, so we have negative 2m squared followed by minus 20m as our final answer. Flip the page over to review dividing polynomials. So when I see this, I see that the denominator needs to be shared with both numerators. So I have to divide these together and divide these two terms together. And now when I write them, I'm going to share it on top and bottom. So I have 4x squared divided by 2x plus 2x divided by 2x. Now I can divide both these terms. So 4 divided by 2 is equal to 2x, and 2x divided by 2x would be positive 1. Now I need to remember that when you're dividing polynomials, you have to subtract exponents. When you're multiplying, you're going to add. When you divide, you need to subtract. So we have x to the power of 2, so that's 2 minus 1 would give us 1. Now the same process, just with 3 terms. I'm going to rewrite them out. So we have negative 18r 5t squared divided by 6rt plus 12r cubed t divided by 6rt plus 3rt divided by 6rt. So what does this equal? Negative 18 divided by 6 would give us negative 3. Now looking at the r's, we have r to the power of 5 and r to the power of 1. So 5 minus 1 would give us r to the power of 4. And we have t squared minus divided by t would give us t. Plus 12 divided by 6 is 2. 3 and 1 would give us r to the power of 2. And your t minus t would cancel. Plus 3 divided by 6 would give us 1/2. And r divided by r is 0 or cancels, and t divided by t cancels. Now we're going to be looking at our distributive property, which we should recall from some of the examples we did on the last page, how you have to distribute 2 throughout the bracket to give you 2x minus 8. Now we're going to use 2 different forms on how to solve that. We have distributive property for binomials, so we need to multiply the first term with the last term and so on, so that each term is multiplied by each other. 2 methods we're going to use that we can solve that. This one's called the box method. So we're going to start off by drawing a box. that has 4 cells. Now I'm going to put the first term on the top. So the first term I have x and plus 3, which I got from here. And on the other side, 2x minus 1, which I got from here. Now I'm going to multiply the top and the bottom into each box. So here I have 2x multiplied by x would give me 2x squared. 2x multiplied by 3 is 6x. X multiplied by negative 1 is negative x. And negative 1 multiplied by 3 is negative 3. Now I'm going to write out these terms. So I have 2x squared plus 6x minus x minus 3, and combining where possible, I would get 2x squared plus 5x minus 3. So don't forget to combine when possible. That was the box method. Here is the FOIL method that you'll probably become more familiar with. So FOIL stands for first, outside, inside, last. And this is an acronym that can help you solve for the distributive property of binomials. So here we have x plus 3 multiplied by 2x minus 1. So we're going to start with the first terms. So we're going to multiply those together. So x multiplied by 2x would give us 2x squared. Now the outside terms, x multiplied by negative 1 would be negative x. Now the two inside terms give us positive 6x, and the last terms from each binomial would be negative 3. And of course, combining where possible, 2x squared plus 5x minus 3. The same answer the box method gave us in 2 different ways. So turn the page so we can practice some of the distributive property. I'm going to be using the FOIL term or FOIL method to solve for these. So here we have multiplying the first two and here. So we have x squared plus 3x and plus 2x plus 6. Combining where possible, x squared plus 6x plus 6. Oop, my mistake. 3 plus 2 is 5. 5x. There we go. Multiply the first two terms. So we have 2x multiplied by x, 2x squared. 2x multiplied by 8 is positive 16x. 1 multiplied by x is plus x. And 1 times 8 is positive 8. Combining where possible, 2x squared plus 17x plus 8. Here we have x plus 7 squared. So if we were to expand that, we have x plus 7 multiplied by x plus 7. The first two terms would give us x squared and plus 7x plus 7x, and 7 multiplied by 7 is 49. This would give us x squared plus 14x plus 49. Continuing on for D, x times x is x squared. X times 5 is positive 5x. Negative 5 multiplied by x is negative 5x. And negative 5 multiplied by 5 is negative 25. Plus 5 minus 5 cancel, so we're left with x squared minus 25. E, we see that we now have a binomial by a trinomial. So it's the same process. I need to multiply each term in the binomial with each term in the trinomial. So I'm going to start with the first term. So we have x multiplied by x squared gives us x cubed. X by 4x is positive 4x squared. and x by 2 is positive 2x. Now the second term, 4 multiplied by x squared is positive 4x squared. 4 times 4x is positive 16x, and positive 8. Now combining like terms where possible. There's nothing that can combine with x cubed. Now I'm going to go into x squared. So what is 4x squared plus 4x squared? So it gives positive 8x squared. 16 plus 2 is plus 18x, and plus 8. F gives us a trinomial multiplied by a trinomial. Exact same process. I always like to start with my first term on the left. So I have here to here. Give you 4x to the power of 4. X squared multiplied by negative 2x is negative 2x cubed. And the outside terms is positive 5x squared. Next term, I'm going to start here. We would have positive 6x cubed minus 6x squared plus 15x. And the third term, negative 8x squared positive 8x, and negative 4 multiplied by 5 is negative 20. Now I want to go through this whole list and combine like terms where possible. So we have 4x to the power of 4. I'm going to check that one off because that one is used. And I don't know how I got that 4. That's my mistake. This should be a 2. There we go. Now the 3, because we always write in descending order. So we have negative 2x to the power of 3 here. And that's the only 2. So we have negative 2 plus 6 is positive 4x cubed. Checking off those terms. Now squared as we go in descending order. So 5 minus 6 minus 8 is negative 9x squared. Now we're left with the x. 15x plus 8x is positive 23x. Check and check. And the final term, constant of negative 20. Nothing else to combine. G, x plus 2 to the power of 3. So we're going to write this in expanded form first. So it's like doing x plus 2 multiplied by x plus 2 multiplied by x plus 2. Now we can't multiply 3 separate terms together. So we're first going to start with these two and worry about the third after. So we have x squared plus 2x plus 2x plus 4. Combining like terms where possible. So we have x squared plus 4x plus 4. Then we're now going to multiply with x plus 2, which we got from here. So multiplying this binomial by a trinomial, we have our first terms. So I see that we have 2x squared plus 8x plus 8. And our next term, plus x cubed plus 4x squared plus 4x. Combining these like terms and writing in descending order. There's nothing to combine with x cubed, so we're going to start with that. That one's complete. 4x squared plus 2x squared is positive 6x squared. 8x plus 4x is positive 12x. And a constant of positive 8. We're going to go through 2 more examples that you can see are very lengthy and will require lots of steps. We're going to expand and simplify, and we see that this is simplifying sums and differences of polynomial products. So we're multiplying these polynomials and adding them. First, we're going to start with multiply these terms together. So we have 2c squared multiplied by positive 10c, negative 3c multiplied by negative 15. So here's one set of terms, plus 3, and now we multiply our binomial by our binomial. We have negative 3c squared plus c and positive 9c minus 3. Now we have to get rid of and factor through this, multiply the 3 through the brackets. So here we would have the first set would stay the same because there's nothing to multiply through. So we have 2c squared plus 10c minus 3c minus 15. And what I recognize is that I can combine these c's together. So that would give you positive 7c minus 15 as a set of terms. And as I multiply this 3, we have positive 3. I'm also going to combine the two c's, so negative 3c squared plus 10c minus 3. Now I'm going to multiply this 3 through. The first set stays the same, 2c squared plus 7c minus 15. 3 multiplied by negative 3c would be negative 9c squared, plus 3 multiplied by 10c is 30c, and 3 multiplied by negative 3 is negative 9. Now I can combine like terms. So I have from the c squared 2 minus 9, so that's negative 7c squared. From the c, 30 plus 7 is positive 37c. See what happened there. There we go. That is done. That's odd. Minus, doesn't want to show me my answer. So we had negative 7c squared plus 37c minus 24 as a final answer. Now let's try finding the difference of products of polynomials. So here we have that we're multiplying the trinomial by the binomial and then subtracting this binomial multiplied by a binomial. So I'm going to expand this part first. So I have 3x plus y minus 1 multiplied by 2x minus 4. We're going to subtract 3x plus 2y multiplied by 3x plus 2y. I'm going to first start by multiplying this binomial by the trinomial. So I'm going to start with 2 and multiply through. So I have 2x multiplied by negative 1 is negative 2x plus 2xy plus 6x squared, and multiplying the 4 would give us positive 4 subtract 4y minus 12. And yeah. Now we have subtract, multiplying through the bracket. This would give us, I'm going to close that, 9x squared plus 6xy. And now we have this one to this one, so we have plus 6xy plus 4y squared. In each set, I'm going to combine within the brackets. So I would have in the first bracket, I'm also writing in descending order, so I have 6x squared plus 2xy minus 14x minus 4y plus 4. And we have subtract 9x squared plus 12xy plus 4y squared. Because this is this difference, I need to now switch the signs. So this will become an addition of products. So this will be a negative 9 subtract 12 minus 4. I'm going to rewrite them with their proper signs. We have 6x squared plus 2xy minus 14x minus 4y plus 4. Subtract 9x squared, subtract 12xy, subtract 4y squared. Finally, I'm going to combine like terms. So this will give me, looking at x squared, I have 6x squared minus 9x squared, so negative 3x squared. Looking at xy, so I have 2xy minus 12xy is negative 10xy. There's nothing to combine with negative 14x. Nothing to combine with negative 4y. Then we have, that should be 4y squared and then 4y to write in proper descending order. And the constant of plus 4 as a final answer. The practice questions that go along with this one here are on page 186. Questions 5, 6, 8, 15, 18, 19, 21, along with the next page in your unit booklet to prepare practicing multiplying polynomials before we get into factoring, which will start in the next lesson.